Gorgeous.
Okay, we're starting on Tes Amud Beis, and now we're on camera. Lila Nishmas, Chanechenech Ben Sholom Bach, and discuss for all the people that need Refuah Shlema. We're by Tes Amud Beis, Ein Bein Kohen Mashur B'Shem HaMishcha. So Ein Bein, there's no difference between a Kohen Gadol that is Mashur B'Shem HaMishcha, that's anointed with the Shem HaMishcha, the Meru Begodim, to a Kohen Gadol which adds the garments to make it the 8 and becomes a Kohen Gadol, except that he's not anointed with the Shem HaMishcha. So there's no difference between these two Kohen Gadols, except Ella Par Habal Kol Mitzvahs. The only difference is that a Kohen Gadol that is anointed with the Shem HaMishcha, there's a special mitzvah in the Torah that the Kohen Gadol paskins halacha and it's wrong, and because of this, people did the wrong thing. He has to bring a special carbon, a bull, and it's called a par habal kol mitzvahs. Ein bein Kohen meshamesh leKohen she'avar. There's no difference between an active Kohen or retired Kohen. El par Yom Kippurim b'asirus eifa. Besides the power of Yom Kippur that which the acting Kohen does, and the asirus eifa, which is a daily carbon. When we say a Kohen that was retired, we're talking about a Kohen Gadol, and then he got a psol or he wasn't feeling well, so they had to put somebody else instead of him. So that Kohen Gadol becomes a retired Kohen Gadol, and the Gemara is going to discuss it. Zok the Gemara, Hala Inyan Par Yom Kippurim, Vasirus Eifa says that Shovin. But the Inyan of Par Yom Kippurim and Asirus Eifa, they're both equal. Mas Nisan the Loiker Rabbi Meir. Zok the Gemara, the Mishnah has to be not like Rabbi Meir. The Rabbi Meir, because it was a Meir, Hatanya Meru Begadim Mevi Par Habal Mitzvahs, the Rabbi Meir. But Chamru Aimim Eini Mevi. Right, so we have this brisa. My time of the Rebbe Meir, the Tanya, Mashiach. Ein ela Mashur B'Shem HaMishcha. Meruva v'Gadim Minayin. When we say Mashiach, the Kohen HaMashiach, the pasuk that talks about the Baal Kol Mitzvahs says a Kohen HaMashiach, the anointed Kohen Gadol. So Mashiach, Meruva v'Gadim Minayin. Tamalay HaMashiach. So because the pasuk says HaMashiach, the anointed one, so clearly if he's not anointed, then he doesn't do that. B'Mayu Kimnov, the like Rebbe Meir. So how do we establish this mission? Not like Rebbe Meir. Amos Seifo. Maybe that part of the mission is going like Rebbe Meir. The Tanya, if the Kohen Gadol all of a sudden they find a psul, so they substitute him with a different Kohen Gadol. So the first one, right, he goes back to his avodah. The second one, all the mitzvahs of Kahuna Gedolah are on him. Divri Rebbe Meir. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi says, so the first one goes back to his avodah. The second one ain't a roy Kohen Gadol, but Kohen Hedyot. He can't now be a Kohen Gadol anymore, and he can't be a Kohen Hedyot anymore. Rabbi Yossi, Maisa, Rabbi Yossi ben Ulam Tzipori. There was a Maisa with Rabbi Yossi ben Ulam from Tzipori, who was a Kohen. She Rabbi Psul, the Kohen Gadol, uminu tastav. The Kohen Gadol, they found a psul, and they set up Rabbi Yossi ben Ulam from Tzipori to take over. And the Maisa, the story, came to Chachamim, and they said, okay, what do we do now? The original Kohen Gadol, now that the psul, whatever, is over and he's cleared, he gets reinstated. Very good word. The second one, right, Rabbi Yosef ben Ulam from Tzipori, now is not right to be a Kohen Hedyot anymore, and he can't be a Kohen Gadol anymore. So Kohen Gadol Mishum Eva, because we're worried about the hatred that the two Kohen Gadols are going to have, that two chiefs, so we can't have two Kohen Gadols. Now we can't also go back to being a regular Kohen because Mayim Kodesh Meridin. Like in Gashmias, everybody knows that you're supposed to go up, and in Kodesh also you're supposed to go up and not down. So, maybe the beginning of the Mishnah is going like Rabbanan, and the Sefer is going like Rabbi Meir. Amr Chizda in Reisha Rabbanan v'Sefer Rabbi Meir. That the Reisha is Rabbanan and the Sefer in Reisha Rabbanan v'Sefer Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yosef Amar, Rabbi Yosef said it's according to Rabbi, but Nasav Lei, I'll leave it to the Tanoi. And he's listing this according to the Machloikas Tanoi. So now we're going to learn a short Mishnah with a little Gemara. I don't want to go too far because I don't want to confuse too much. So, I think we'll learn the Mishnah.
This one is a big one.
This one was a big one. This one was pretty big for what we like to cover in the day, in a regular day.
The next one is a big one.
I'm hoping not giving Shmuley too much editing to do over here. Wow. Okay, so now we're going to learn about bombas.
The next one is Agadah, though.
After that, smooth sailing. Yeah.
It's just a lot of it's the stuff.
Yeah, that's the Geshmaka stuff.
That's for that since we started.
The important fun stuff. You said.
No, it's a bunch of pages of just Megillah Esther, Haman.
Actually, very quick.
Everything's coming up.
That's a quick one. Just
Okay.
Right.
mentioning
The
this.
problem is a lot of this stuff is a lot of different technical stuff. So like I
All
feel
the
like,
einbeins are because you have to have an introduction for
or
each
you have to
one.
know where
It's a
you're
bunch of
coming from.
different
Like this one we're learning now about bombas. So a bomber, I
Is
guess
it-
we should say it on
I know it's a
camera.
lady bump.
Right, the bomber. Yeah. So a bomber is basically a mizbeach, and there's two different types. There's a bomber katana and a bomber gedola.
Colorless.
There were a few different periods in Klal Yisrael that you were allowed to have a bomber.
It's like a private mizbeach, right?
Right, it's like a private, a private mizbeach, and there's also a bama gedolah. There's a bama gedolah and bama katana. We're going to learn it, but I just want to discuss what it is first. So there's all this is there was a Beis Hamikdash, there was Mishkan and Shilai, there was a Beis Hamikdash. Those were basically the times that bama was not allowed. Like while there was a big Beis Hamikdash, there wasn't a bama gedolah. But I think maybe there was bama katana in certain situations. But I would love to delve into that. But like I really want to like cover like some ground and thing. But I don't know exactly when you're allowed to have a bama katana and when you have a bama gedolah. I was trying
If
to.
you could see the Mishkan, if you had a sight to see the Mishkan, we learned it from the Pasuk when Yaakov tells.
Right, so we're going to discuss that. Right, we're going
When
to.
Yaakov tells the Bracha of Yosef that the women said they would look over to see it. We learned the halacha that the Mishkan was from the merit of Yosef, and the Beis was from Yehuda. So we learned if you were able to see, they would look over Yosef. We learned that halacha that you can do a boma as long as you could see the Mishkan, you were able to do a carbon.
Right, so that was a bama katana. That's a bama
Right.
katana, right?
Yeah.
Bama
It's
gedolah.
by the.
I think bama gedolah is only when there's no mishkan and when there's no Beis Hamikdash. Like when there was a small, when there wasn't a big thing, so then you could do a bama. So like we're not going to discuss in the Mishnah of the Gemara when exactly, but we're going to discuss. So Shilai is when there's a mishkan in Shilai. Yerushalayim is when we discuss Yerushalayim. We're talking about when there's a Beis Hamikdash, right? Am I explaining that properly?
They boma in the midbar
Before
the Eretz Yisrael.
I think in the midbar there was bama.
Before.
Yeah, but I don't know if-
David HaMelech is the one that picked Yerushalayim as the capital.
That was
Like
later.
3,000 years. That's the saying before.
I thought that was
Hebron,
Trump.
when it was in Hebron.
That was
7 years.
No, didn't he move the capital back to?
Jerusalem.
But before Yerushalayim, there was Shiloh. You open up right in Tanakh. There's Yeshia, Shoftim, and then Shmuel. You go to Shmuel. His mother Chana and his father are going to Mishkan
We're
Shiloh.
going to Shiloh.
That's
Yeah.
where they met Ivy Akayim. And Shmuel was the Rebbe of Sholom HaMelech, and then David HaMelech. David HaMelech, when he was a little older, he was basically built Yerushalayim. Even though it says that Shem, we had last week's parasha, Shem was Malki Tzedek Melech Shulam. Rashi says Shulam is Yerushalayim, but David HaMelech is the one that built the Yerushalayim that we know to a certain extent. So until before that, for hundreds of years, there was Mishkan Shiloh. That's going to be really the next Mishnah. Ein Bein Shiloh Yerushalayim.
And then there was a Hebron for 7 years.
For Tkifa, yeah.
7 years. It was
And
the capital.
Ruma Vini was also in Hebron in this week's parsha, in Be'er.
Okay. So Testament Beis, and we're on the second to last mission of Testament Beis. Ein bein bama gedolah bama katana el psachim. There's no difference between a small bama and a big bama. Small bama is a personal bama that you could put certain karbanos on, and a bama gedolah is a bama for the tzibur. They both have different halachas. So the only difference is like this Mishnah is psachim. Is that psachim could only be on a bama gedolah and not on a bama katana. Zeh klal. So this is the klal. Kol sho nidav v'nidav karav babama. When we say bama, I think we're talking about bama gedolah.
Bama katana.
Bama katana? Okay, so right, I knew it was
Kol sho nidav v'nidav
Anything
karav babama.
voluntary, you could do on your private bama when it was allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And anything like a carbon paisach, that's a chiyuv,
And
that's
it's
not
here, yeah.
voluntary, not out of the goodness of your heart or whatever, that you have to go up to the central government. To the central, I shouldn't call it government.
The
You know what I mean?
government.
So this is
the half.
yeah. Over here in
Neder
the
and
Mishnah,
Adava.
it's bama katana.
Bama katana. So neder and nadava. Remember, we both nadava is I say this box of tissues, this animal. Neder is, I say, Harei Alai. We're going back to that.
We spoke about
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I know the Olam knows that, so I'm just a thing. So a Neder or Nadava, Kar B'Bama, on a Bama Ketana. V'chol she'einu lo nidav, einu Kar B'Bama. So if it's not a Neder or Nadava, in other words, something, I think that there's a couple of conditions that it has to be in order to be on the Bama. Like it has to be a Zman thing, and it has to be a required thing, obligatory, a chiyuv. That's the word I was looking for. So, Zakti Gemara, Psachem Vesulai. In the question, Psachem Vesulai, so just Psachem, that's the only difference, because the Mishnah says there's no difference except Psachem. So, frankly, Gemara, Psachem Vesulai, Eima Ke'em Psachem. Maybe what we're saying is, not just Psachem, but anything that's like Psachem. Money, so who is the Mishnah? Who's the Mishnah? Rav Shimon the Tanya.
Shimon Hitan. No?
Yeah, Rav Shimon. So who is the Mishnah like? It's like Rav Shimon. The Tanya, V'amaham Gland in Abraisa. Rav Shimon Aimer, Af Tzibur lahikrivu el Psachem. Even the tzibur could only be makriv psachim. The chayvos shekavua lahem zman, and like we just discussed, the karbanos that are chayv and also have a kavua zman. Aval chayvos, but if they are a carbon that's a chayv she'en kavua lahem zman that doesn't have a specific time, hacha v'hacha lekraf. Here and here, a Bama Katana or Bama Gedayla, he cannot bring it. Should we go? Is this all clear? We should go on to the next Mishnah.
Hey, it's very short.
Because I don't want to do I don't want to do the Gemara. That's the thing. Ein ben Shiloi L'Yushalayim. So now we were discussing about Shiloi, the Mishkan and Shiloi. So the Mishkan and Shiloi was a big Mishkan, and Yerushalayim is, of course, the Beis HaMikdash. Should be rebuilt very soon, Bez Hashem. Elisha B'Shiloi. So there's no difference between the status of the Mishkan and Shiloi or the Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. Elisha B'Shiloi Oichlin Kochim Kalim U'Masa Sheni B'Chol Haraya. So they both have this inyan that when you see, you have to bring Oilas Riyah, which is what the Shirley was discussing. The Riyah, the Oilas Riyah, that when you see either the Mishkan Shila or you see Yerushalayim, you have to bring the carbon. So, El B'Shir Shila Oichlin Kachim Kalam, and Shila you could eat Kachim Kalam, and Maisa Sheni B'Chol Haraya. Yerushalayim, as long as you could see the Mishkan, then you could eat the Kachim Kalam and Ma'aser Sheni. Of Yerushalayim, but then in Yerushalayim, the Fim Menachayma V'kan V'kan. The Fim Menachayma V'kan V'kan Kachim Nechalim the Fim Menachayim.
So in a way, Shiloi has it has more of a koyach almost.
Right. It seems that way. Is that what you're saying, Sroli?
Yeah, he's saying because Shiloi is. He was saying already shtikol toyach. The belly is to the head. No, he was saying because it's Shiloi is Yosef Atzadik's territory, and Yosef it says Ali Benois they threw the flowers at him.
When it's told,
yeah,
It looks like a Stamad Pasik, but we actually learn halacha from that.
Right, so it's a Gemara's Vach, and that's why.
You tried getting one by us, huh?
No, if you look at Asher here, the Peirik Basra is Vach, because the Indian is it's Ashafsky, because the Indian is that Shilo, even as long as it's within eye shot, you could eat the carbon. In Shalayim, you have to be in the gates. It's a little bit more strict almost. The sun. It's like interesting.
Kedusha Shila Yesh Achareh Heter. So the Bamas, after the Mishkan Shila was destroyed, so you were allowed again to be makriv a carbon on a bum. But Yerushalayim, the Beis Hamikdash, after the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, there weren't Bamas. So since
You can't bring Kabbalas anymore.
right, I'm saying since the Churban by Hasheni, Bamas were Asr.